Okay, so better let's get started. So in the yesterday sections, can anyone revise what we have did in the yesterday section? But what we have covered in the last session. See, day by day the things are going to be more complex. So it's better if you read whatever we have discussed and if you execute the last session. Can anyone revise it? But is there anyone who can revise what we have discussed so far? No. So in the last session, bit of we discussed private versus public versus elastic IP addresses, and we have seen how we can do how we can allocate the elastic addresses. We have seen the placement groups, how we can create the placement groups. Then we have seen the ENIs, elastic networking interfaces. That's the third topic we have discussed. Then after that, we have seen the network interfaces cards, and we have seen how we can do the hibernation. So if I'll put the system or hibernation, so if even if is yes, hibernation. So if I restart it, the instance, if I'll put in hibernation, so it will not be restarted from the very scratch. All the operating system data and all the user scripts, the bootstrap scripts are going to be stored, and the instance will be running. If you remember in the last class, we have executed EC2 instance connect using web browser, and it was 3 minutes or 4 minutes. We stopped the instance, we hibernated it, and then we started again, and it was showing 7 minutes. So that means at the time of hibernation, it was put into sleep. It was not deleted from the memory. Okay, so that's what we have discussed. So, but in today's session, we'll be starting with the another section that is going to be EC2 instance storage. Okay, so we're going to start with the EC2 instance storage. So that is going to be our today's class. Let me share the screen. Okay, so I have shared the screen. So, beta, we are going to start with another topic, that is instance storage. So, we are going to start with the instance storage. So, the very first thing in instance storage is EBS volumes. Okay, what are these EBS volumes? So, EBS stands for Elastic Block Storage. So, up to now, we have seen, beta, in the previous section, we have seen the different type of storage. That was we have seen it ENI as well in the previous section, and from this we are going to see with the EBS file storage system. Okay, so this EBS file storage system, basically this is an elastic block storage volume, is a network drive that you can attach to the instance while they are going to run. It allows instance to persist data. So this, I think we have read it already. Even if there is a termination, we can mount it onto one instance at a time. So what is the important point you need to understand from here? That EBS can be mounted to one instance at a time. Okay, so this EBS volume can be allocated to one instance at a time. So if you have a 10 instances, so one instance can be mounted at one EBS volume at the CCP level. They are bound to a specific availability zone. Beta ये भी हमने कल execute किया था. I created for the one availability zone, then I try to attach it from the another availability zone, and it was not showing in the drop down menu. So we have seen this as well. Okay, so analogy, think of them as a network USB stick. So you can think as a network USB sticks, like it is not going to physical drive, but it is act as a virtual. You can plug it into any of the instance and you can read the content. But what is the important point? That at a single point you can plug this USB stick only to one instance. Okay, so this is the analogy. You can compare it with the network USB sticks, not the physical one. कोई पेन ड्राइव की तरह आप इसको इमेजिन कर सकते हैं that it is a USB stick, but it can be attached to only one instance at a single point of time. Okay, now free tier 30 GB of free EBS storage for the type general purpose SSD is given, and or magnetic per month. So 30 GB of free storage is given for the general purpose SSD or magnetic. So this is done, the very basic. And then we have the EBS volumes. Okay, now when we will discuss the EBS volumes, beta, there are multiple important points you need to understand. The first one is a network drive. Okay, it's a physical drive, it is a network. This EBS volume is ultimately going to be mounted to some physical devices. So it is a network device. This is not a physical drive, it is going to be a network. It is going to be an online network. But at the same time, we also have the drives that are mounted to the physical network. So but ultimately there is going to be some data centers and there is going to be some physical devices that are going to be mounted. But this EBS volume that we are going to study right now, this is not going to be directly physically. Ultimately, somehow this will be physically mounted, but directly it is not physically mounted. Okay. And it uses a network to communicate the instance. So that means if you want to have fetching something from the EBS volume, so it is going to communicate using the network, which means that there might be a bit of latency. Okay, so since it is not physically attached to the instance, so using the network you are going to communicate, so there might be a bit of latency. So agar beta yahan pe latency is, so what are applications can be used? So applications like big data, so where you need to have you need to process the very large amount of data. Okay, so where you need to process very large amount of data and might be a bit delay or latency, it is acceptable. Okay, now it can be detached from EC2 instance. This is important point. It can be detached from EC2 instance and it can be attached to another one very quickly. This is also we have seen the last. Logged as availability zone, so it is also locked to certain availability zone, A to Z availability zone. Okay, so if you have the EBS volume you have created for one particular availability zones, let's suppose AP South 1 for Mumbai, so that cannot be mounted on, that cannot be attached to the any other instance if it is created in any other availability zone. So an EBS volume in US East 1 cannot be attached to US East B. So this is another point. So all these are important points. Beta EBS volume के ये कुछ important points हैं, because we'll be starting with a different type of storage and then we need to compare EBS with the new different type of storage. So this is important to understand. To move a volume across, you first need to snapshot it. Beta, do we have studied snapshot? क्या हमने कल snapshot पढ़ा था? Please tell me, do we have studied snapshot? Okay. ठीक है, तो ये हमारा आज का टॉपिक होगा. सो इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट इसमें क्या है बेटा, ये ध्यान से पढ़ो. टू मूव ए वॉल्यूम अक्रॉस यू फर्स्ट नीड टू स्नैपशॉट इट. स्नैपशॉट को मैं बेटा इजी लैंग्वेज में लिख देता हूं. स्नैपशॉट का मतलब है बैकअप. यू नीड टू बैकअप इट. सो टू मूव ए वॉल्यूम अक्रॉस, इसका मतलब, नाउ लेट्स सपोज यू हैव क्रिएटेड the EBS volume, you have created the EBS volume, but it is present in US East 1A. Now you want to move that. Now you want to move it to the US East 1B directly, but it cannot be moved. So what is the procedure? How you can move it? To move a volume across, first of all, we need to snapshot it. We need to create a backup of it. Okay. Once I'm going to have a snapshot of it, but then I can move from any availability zone to any availability zone. Okay. So this question can be asked sometimes, that how you can move the EBS volume even if they are bound to certain availability zone, how we can move it? By creating the snapshot. And this is the practical. We'll be executing this practically. Okay, so we'll be doing it practical. Have a provisional capacity. It is every EBS volume is going to have certain capacity associated with its size in GB and IOPS input output processing system. So you get billed for all the provisional capacity. बेटा ये भी एक डिफरेंस है. वेन एवर आई एम गोइंग टू से ये डिफरेंस है, दैट मीन्स कि अगर ये आपका बेटा एलपी का एग्जाम होता, इफ इट वुड हैव बीन एन एग्जाम, तो आपको सेंटर में एक लाइन लगा के एक साइड पे ईबीएस वॉल्यूम क्या होता है और एक साइड पे जो नेक्स्ट वन दैट आई एम गोइंग टू डिस्कस उसके क्या क्या कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स है, यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड. व्हेन आई से दिस इज इंपॉर्टेंट, this point is very important, you get billed for the provisional capacity. That means beta, what do you mean by this one? You get billed for the provisional capacity. That means, let's suppose I'll take the Airtel SIM and I'll install a internet package of 50 GB. Okay, now no matter if I use 10 GB, 12 GB, 15 GB, at the end of the month, if I've chosen the plan of 50 GB, I will be charged for 50 GB. Okay, so this is what you can understand. You will get billed for the provisional capacity, or you can get the provisional reservation. जितना आप बेटा रिजर्व करोगे, चाहे जितनी कैपेसिटी आपने वो होल्ड की हुई है, you will be charged based upon that. Okay, so this is how the billing is going to be done. But whereas the another one that we're going to start in there, you will be charged only as per the usage. तो ये एक another different
important point है. Okay, the EFS that we'll be discussing after this, EBS के साथ we'll be comparing EFS. Okay, so EBS is going to have okay, you can increase the capacity of the drive over time. Now, since you suppose you take a 50 GB pack for the Airtel, but suppose your usage is going to increase, you can increase the capacity every time. You can anytime you can increase it from 50 GB to 100 GB or 200 GB. You can increase it, but whatever capacity you have reserved, if you're not utilizing it the full capacity, still you will be charged for whatever reservation you have done. So that's one of the important point. Okay, now EBS volume example. Now we'll discuss this one and then we'll move on to the practical part. Okay, now this EBS volume, this is an example. If it is in the US East 1A, there are few instances here, and this instance is going to have EBS volume with the capacity 10 GB. This EBS volume is going to be associated with more than one EBS volumes. This is allowed. Okay, this is allowed that you can have multiple EBS volume attached to the single instance. Okay, but you cannot have the single EBS volume attached to the multiple instances. बेटा, are you getting what I'm saying? Listen carefully कि आपके पास मल्टीपल ईबीएस वॉल्यूम्स जो हैं वो सिंगल इंस्टेंस के साथ तो कनेक्ट हो सकते हैं, दिस इज अलाउड, बट आपका एक ईबीएस वॉल्यूम मल्टीपल इंस्टेंसेस के साथ कनेक्ट नहीं हो सकता. Are you able to get this point? This is just a word play, so slightly tricky. So you need to understand this point. Okay, so this is allowed that you have in a US East 1A, this is availability zone. Under that you have 3 EBS volumes, and this is few instances are creating and volumes are attached to it. Okay, also you can have the another US East 1B, another availability zone, where you can attach the different ones. Suppose you want to have this 50 GB, you want to attach this EBS volume to the different availability zone. तो ये जो आपका volume था, ये different instant के साथ you have attached it. Moreover, you can release if this is EBS 10 GB, or you can unattach. You can keep it as a unattached. Even if you don't want it, you can keep it as a unattached volume. So this is important how we can do this. Okay, deletion on termination. Okay, we'll see that afterwards. So let's move our console. So I'm going to write management console. Let's log in. Okay, ये भी एक बार read कर ही लेते हैं. Next one भी, this will be included. EBS delete on termination attribute. So generally, बेटा इसमें एक important point है. Generally, whenever we create an instance, उसमें क्या होता है? Whenever you create an instance, एक volume, root volume will always be attached to it, and that root volume will be enabled for delete on termination. That means whatever contents you are going to store in EBS volume, it will be automatically deleted the moment you delete the instance. So delete on termination, this is automatically applied to the root volume. So you can see here it's a root volume and it automatically is going to be applied. This is enabled by default. You can disable it, but by default, whatever instance you are going to create, whatever the EBS volume is going to be created along with it, it will be auto terminated, auto deleted when the instance is going to be deleted. So controls the EBS behavior when EC2 instances are terminated. By default, the root EBS volume is deleted, attribute enabled. So delete on termination जो attribute है, this is enabled. That means by default root EBS volume, जो ये जो volume है बेटा storage के लिए, this gets automatically terminated and deleted. By default, any other attached EBS volume is not deleted. So if you are manually going to create any EBS behavior, see, EBS volume is created two ways. First one, you can have EBS volume created at the time of creation of instance, which is your root volume. This is the default one. Or you can create the attached EBS volume manually also. You can create this manually. If you will create this manually, beta, this will not be deleted on termination. This will not be deleted. Root volume will be deleted. Okay. Attribute, this is disabled. This can be controlled by the AWS console or AWS CLI. We can do this. The use case preserve root volume when instance is terminated. Okay, so if you want to preserve the root volume, suppose you have the special case, okay, in which you don't want to delete the content stored in an EBS volume when it is deleted, so you can disable this. If it is already enabled, you can disable it, and you can still store the content which is present into the root volume. So let's move and log in to our management console and practice this. So I'm a root user. I'm going to write type Sahil Sharma dot. We'll go to EC2. So let's launch one of the instance so that I can show you. So instance 1, let's keep everything as it is. EC2 keep pair. Let's install demo, create existing one, default. Okay, let's create a configure 8 GB root volume at once. So you can see volume 1 AMI 8 GBs general SSD as a root volume. So this is going to be there. Let's launch an instance. Success. Let's go to this instance. Okay, so this is instance is running now. If this is instance once I've created, better under the storage tab, this is the beginning I want to show. Under when you'll go to the storage tab, you'll find it a root device. Okay, root device details, and this is the root device. This is the memory that is allocated. This is EBS type. So this is elastic block storage. The root type is there, and optimization disabled. Volume is there. 8 GB, and it is attaching. Let's refresh once again. It is still attaching. Okay, now this is running. So look under this EBS volume. This is attached. So encryption no, all the way. When you'll go here, better you will see delete on termination option. This is yes. This is by default. That means the root volume. This is the root volume. Volume ID is given. So you'll have the block device root volume. This is going to be the delete on termination option is present here. So this is the one point that we want to see here. The another one is after this. The next is we want to see the snapshots. Okay, so just give me a second. Or the second one is you can visit this. So this is volume. Let's go to the volumes. So I have shifted to the volume beta interface. So I have clicked onto the volume. I've shifted to volume interface, or you can directly move from this one. So under elastic block storage, you can click on the volume. Still, you will be able to land on this page. Okay. So you have created one volume. It is GP2 type. So this is GP2. We'll see this in the upcoming slides. I'll tell you what is GP2. Size is going to be 8 GB, and input output operations per second is 100. Throughput we have not it, and this is created at so and so. Availability zone is this much, and the volume is in use. This particular volume is attached to our instance, and the instance ID with which this is attached is already given. So not encrypted. So this is the point. And if we'll show you. So you can see the volume id is present, 8 gigs is there. So encryption, you will see here it is written as it is not encrypted. Okay, so this is not encrypted. So snap is there, created KMS ID and everything related to this, every details you can get this. Now what you can do is you can create the another one. Let's try to create, I'm going to create the another volume and let it be GP2 type. So there are a lot of one, let it be GP2 and let the size is going to be, so this is too large, I'm going to have it as a, let's suppose I'm going to have a 2. Okay, so let's suppose I have input output operation, let it keep as it is. And now a bit I need to make sure the availability zone is same as that of the instance that I already have. Okay, so I need to go to the instance and check that is it this availability zone is for the instances AB South 1A 1B or 1C. So let's move to the management console, instances, and let's refresh. So availability zone is AP South 1A. So I'll be keeping it AP South 1A. So, okay. So after checking this, I'm going to keep the same because it one EC2 instant can be attached to ABS volume if it is in the same availability zone. Okay. The another one, but the next point that we need to choose is snapshot. So you can keep it as it is, and we'll be creating the. Don't create a volume from the snapshot. Use it as it is and create the volume. So I'm going to create the volume. Now a volume is going to be created. Okay. Now if you'll see here, better this volume that we are going to create, and let me refresh this one. This is available. Now this is available. What we can do is this volume, we can click on this. This is available. Okay. And this is encryption is we have not performed any encryption. Volume status is okay. Everything is okay. So we can click on actions and we can attach it to, we can attach this volume to the existing instance. Okay. Now this is availability zone is 1A. When you click on this, so only instance 1 is running. You can click onto this device name, it's automatically being fetched from here, and then you can simply click on the one and you can attach the volume. Okay, now this particular volume is going to be attached to the existing instance. So let's move back to our instance. So let's move back to our instance and refresh this one. Okay, so if you'll move back and if you'll see under the security tab, you'll see this instance. Under the storage tab, this is, you'll see, but we have got 8 gigs of memory. This is the root volume. By the way, this dev xvda, the root volume which gets automatically created and it is attached to the instance. And the last one, that is the volume that we have created now. This is the second volume with the 2 gigs of RAM memory, and we have created this and we have attached it to the our instance. Now you'll observe one major difference that we have studied in the PPT, that the delete on termination option is yes in case of our the root volume, but it is disabled in case of the in the volume that I have created myself. Okay, so this point we have discussed already. No matter, you can disable this also. यहाँ पे बेटा no आ सकता है, you can disable that as well. Okay, now the another point is we have we have used this instance and 8 gigs of RAM is the default one, and we have already attached the another volume of 2 gigs. Now another point is how we'll be able to use this volume with the 2 gigs with our EC2 instance. Better that is beyond the scope of the syllabus, but you can simply Google and we can search Okay, format EB2 volume attached to EC2 instance. If you'll see this, okay, so you'll have the multiple options. So docs is there. So you can check this on if you want to attach it using the Linux. This is, by the way, beyond C. This is all the processes mentioned, how you are going to attach it. So if you have attached already the existing one, so you can use this commands and you can use it for the current instance. But that's a beyond the scope of the syllabus. I just want to show you that how you can attach this the volume that we have created, and you can attach it to the EC2 instance. Okay, but how we will be using this volume, using this instance, for that you need to understand this one, how an EBS volume available for use in the Linux for EC2 instance. Okay, so that's a different altogether concept. Okay, now coming on to the next point, better let's try to create one more volume. This is create volume. Let's try to create. This is general purpose. Let it be general purpose. Let size be 2, and I'll keep this as a is A. Let I'll keep it as a south B. Okay. Let's create the volume. Let's try to refresh this one, and this one, the first one is available. Click on this, and if we try to attach the volume, now AP South B, so you can see, since availability zone in which this volume is being created, ABS volume, so it is in AP South 1B. And when you look onto the instance, we don't have any such instance which is currently running in a AP South 1B. Okay, so that means the EBS volumes that we are creating, it is attached to one of the availability zone. Okay, let's move and delete this. I don't need this one. I'll click on this. Let's delete the volume. Okay, now another is, if you want, okay, let me show you that delete on termination option. If I'll start, Peter, let's try to create the another instance. So name, let it be any instance. I'm not going to create this one, so I'm just going to show the option T2 micro key pair network and configure storage advanced. When you'll go there and volume 1, under this you'll see better EBS volume. Under this section, when you'll go, the default one, if you'll create an instance here, so the default one, it shows that delete on termination is yes, this is enabled. You can click it on no if you want to do it. It has written customs. Okay, so if you want to, I'm not going to have it, so I'll keep it as one only. So but if the root volume, if you don't want to delete this, you can click on no, and you'll be good to go. Okay, so you'll be able to change this one. Let's go to the instances. So if I'm going to terminate this instance, now since this has already, the delete on termination option is applicable. So if I'm going to terminate the instance, so delete EBS volumes is applicable on EBS backend instance. The default action for EBS volume is to be deleted when the instance terminated. Storage of any local device will be lost. This is going to be lost, but I'm going to delete on termination. And if I'm going to shut down this, let's refresh this, shutting it down. So management shutting it down. Let's go to the volumes bit. I have moved to the another interface from management console from instances. So keep a track. This is instances console, and I'm going to move to the volume console. So in volume console, we can see there are two volumes that are attached to the instance, but instance ones is now shutting down. Now, since if it is shutting, it is terminated already. Okay. Now, when I'll move on to this one, and if I'll refresh this one, you'll see one of the volume is already gone. Which one is gone? The one which is automatically the root volume that is created. So this is 2 gigs and this is the manually created by me. So this is already available. So this is not attached. This is automatically beta जैसे आप instant delete करोगे, this volume will become available because this was associated with EC2 instance. Now it has already deleted. तो जैसे वो instance beta delete करोगे, it will become available already. Okay. Now you can delete this as well. So if you do not need this, so this is the one we have studied. तो ये बेटा हमने पीपीटी में इतना पढ़ा था. So delete on termination options we have seen. Let's move and read the next one, the snapshots. Okay, so we'll try to understand the snapshots. मैंने आपको बोला था कि अगर आपको बेटा एक रीजन से if you want to move this EBS volume from one region to another region, you can do using the snapshots. Otherwise, whatever is EBS volume is available in one region, it is not available in the another. We have seen it right now. कल भी किया था, we have seen it today as well. Beta, are you guys with me? Am I audible? Okay, perfect. So let's try to discuss first of all snapshots beta क्या हैं, कैसे काम करते हैं. Then we'll try to do this the practical way. Okay. So make a backup or the snapshot of your EBS volume at a point in time. At A नहीं है यहाँ पे, at any point in time. So it is like the normal computer backup जैसे हम create करते हैं. तो EBS volume, whatever data you can have the backup. So you can create the backup at any point in time. Not necessary to detach a volume to do a snapshot. जैसे कि बेटा ये instance के साथ ये EBS connected है. अब बैकअप लेने के लिए it is not mandatory that I need to detach it. Even if it will be a attached one, still I can do a snapshot. But it is not recommended. Why it is not recommended? But because it will give you the performance issues and there will be few contents that may not be copied or may not be included into the snapshot. You can do it, but it is generally not recommended. Can copy a snapshot across A to Z or regions. So multiple regions, multiple availability zones. Once you create beta from this one, once you create the snapshot. So this bucket is going to be the EBS snapshot. Once this is created, now you can move this to any of the availability zone, any of the regions, you can do that. That's the power of the snapshots. Okay. So how this is going to be done? So features are going to be written. EBS snapshot के features क्या हैं? In EBS snapshot, features are that EBS snapshot archive. So it is going to create an archive, move a snapshot to an archive tier that is 75% cheaper. Now, why do we need to move it to the archive beta? Because this EBS snapshot, these are particularly going to be having the images of the data that you already have in the EBS volumes. तो वो data कहाँ पे snapshot store होगा? EBS के अंदर ही store होगा. So it will pile up your storage. Like for example, if you have 10 GB hard disk, you create the backup and the backup is of 2 GB. Now this 2 GB is going to be stored inside this 10 GB, so which is not recommended, which is not a good practice because ultimately it is going to consume your EBS volume memory. Okay, so what you can do is you can store it in a EBS archive that is 75% cheaper. So you can move it into a archive tier. So एक backend पे ये storage है that is 75% cheaper. क्यों cheaper है बेटा? Because you'll have you may not be getting a high latency और throughput जो इसका है performances हैं they may not be that great. but this is just a backup storage for the archive, that where you can use this snapshot, where you can store this snapshot. Okay, so it takes typically between 24 to 72 hours for restoring the archive. So suppose something is stored in the archive, मुझे वहां से retrieve करके I need to put it back to the EBS volume. So it generally take 24 to 72 hours for restoring the archive, and moreover it also depends upon the content or the data that is present here. जो अगर data कम है बेटा, it might take a lesser time, and if the data is huge in the snapshot, it might take a even more than 72 hours, but generally the time is from 2 to 4 days it takes. Okay, now this is the EBS snapshot is there. You can put it in an archive and EPS snapshot archive. This is the low performing storage, but it is 75% cheaper as well. ठीक है, तो ये इस स्टोरेज में आप ये रख सकते हैं. देन कमिंग ऑन टू द रिसाइकलमेंट, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. लेट्स सपोज बेटा एक आपके पास EBS स्नैपशॉट है, यू हैव गॉट द बैकअप, बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली मिस्टेकनली यू डिलीट दिस. तो एक्सीडेंटल डिलीशन से बचने के लिए यू कैन अनेबल द रिसाइकल बिन एज वेल. सो रिसाइकल बिन में क्या होगा, व्हाट इज गोइंग टू बी प्रेजेंट रिसाइकल बिन, यू कैन सेट अप द लिमिट that from recycle bin you can restore the items or you can permanently delete it. But what benefit you can have, you can set the days that from recycle bin, whether you want to stay within the recycle bin for 1 day, for 1 week, for 1 month, or 1 year. Okay, so even if you delete it accidentally, it will be present in the recycle bin and it can be retrieved back from the recycle bin. So that is another important point. And specify the retention time. It is written specify the retention time कि recycle bin में from 1 day till 1 year you can set that time कि कितनी देर तक आपके recycle bin में वो जो आपके पास snapshot है it will be present. Okay, set up rules to retain the deletion snapshot so that you can recover them after the accidental deletion. So if you delete this and it will be stored inside the recycle bin, it will not be immediately deleted. So if you'll specify the retention time, for that much duration it will be present in the recycle bin. After that it will be permanently deleted, then you will not be able to recover it back. Okay, now we have the AM. Okay, then we have the AMI overview. Let's move back to our practical of snapshot. It is very easy now, since one of the, okay, this is terminated. Do we have the volumes with us, elastic volumes? Okay, so we still have this volume available with us. Okay, so we have this volume available with us, but this I have created manually. 2 gigs of storage it is having. It was attached to one of the instance, so it was attached to this particular okay, this is attached to the instance, but now since I have deleted the instance, so it has got available for the users. Now when you click here, so it is available, it is not attached to any of the instance. For this particular volume I can click on this and I can create a snapshot, I can create a backup for this one. Okay, and description you can write it anything here. Let's have the demo snapshot. Let me write it, demo snapshot. Give me a second.
Okay, so let's beta continue. Let me share the screen. I got a call. I'm sorry. Uh, Let me share the entire screen. Okay, so create a snapshot. I'll click on the demo snapshot and let's create a snapshot. I hope the screen is visible. Yes, that is visible. I created the snapshot. So successfully, oops, deleted. No, this is not the page. Let's close this one. Yes, successfully created the snapshot. So we have created the snapshot successfully from the given volume. This is the volume with 2 gigs, and the snapshot is created. And how will be checking whether snapshot is created or not? Go to the Elastic Block Storage, and under volume you will see the section of snapshot. Let's click on the snapshot, and you'll see the snap is already there. So snapshot is created already. Now when you click on here, and you will find it is available. This is so progress, it is available. That means the snapshot or the backup is complete, and the 100% of the data is it is completed, and 100% of the data is available in my backup. So this is done, and the snapshot ID is also present. Now once this is done, after this we can copy this snapshot. Okay, so we can copy this snapshot and we can relaunch it to the different availability zone. Okay, so you can relaunch it into any of the availability zone where this snapshot was not present. Okay, so let's click on snapshot and let's move, and you'll see archive, manage, modify, copy snapshot is there, archive, delete, manage, image, copy snapshot. Okay, you click on copy snapshot, and the snapshot copy is going to be here. And when you are going to click on the copy snapshot, so you can specify better in this. If you'll see, you can specify there are a lot of regions descriptions there, and the region is AP South 1. Now you'll see, now there are a lot of other regions are there. So AP South 1, and you can have AB Northeast, AP Northwest. So whatever regions now you want to have, you can create as per their your availability, or as per your the requirement. You can use this any of the availability zone. Now what is going to be the benefit of this one? So the benefit is going to be, it is going to be available in more than one availability zone. So even in case of the fault, you can have the same data replicated to the different instance, and it can work. So I have not created it. Okay, or the another small way is you can click on this, and you can actions, create a volume from the snapshot. Now we have copied it. I have shown you two ways. One is you can copy the snapshot and relaunch it into a different what we call this availability zone. This is one of the way you can copy the snapshot and relaunch it into a different one. Another point is that from this snapshot, this is the backup. Okay, this is the image snapshot image, the backup. और यू कैन क्रिएट अ न्यू वॉल्यूम फ्रॉम द स्नैपशॉट कि इस इमेज से जो डेटा आपने बैकअप किया हुआ है, यू कैन क्लिक ऑन दिस एंड यू कैन हैव द you can click on the new volume from this one. Okay, so if I'll click on this one, you can have this. To availability zone AB South 1A. Let's change it to AP South 1B. So not enabled for the selected. No issues. Encrypt this volumes. Let's not change anything. Whatever the default values are, I'll keep the intact volume. So this is will be available in AP South 1B. So I'm going to create the volume. Okay. Now once I create this volume, now beta I'll move on to the volumes. I'll go to the volumes, and you will see there now there are two volumes available. One is the original one, beta both of them is original, and one is the available in the which was already present. I get this AP South 1A. This was the original one, and from the image the backup file, I have created one more volume
with this particular same specification. GP2 type is there, 2 gigs of RAM. Input output operations per second is 100. Throughput is given. So it is given as a snapshot. So this volume has been created from the snapshot. Okay. So not encrypted. None of them is going to be encrypted here. So this is the another way. So from the snapshot, either you can relaunch it into the different availability zone, or you can create the new volume for using this snapshot. Now this the volume that we have created, now need not to say this. Now we can attach these volumes while we are going to create any of our instance. Okay. Now coming back to snapshot. But now suppose if we want to delete the snapshot, this is a snapshot that you want to delete it. We have already studied the concept of recycle bin. So let's click on the recycle bin. First of all, let me explain it to you. Okay, so this is the recycle bin. It protects the Amazon EBS, so the block storage that you have created snapshot from AMIs from the accidental deletion. So if you will delete it accidentally, so recycle bin is going to store it temporarily. So let's create a retention rule, as we have seen it already. So retention rule name, you can give it any random name, so not required. Let it be right demo. uh, Demo retention rule. I have written retention description not required, and the resource type as it written from what you want to source. So since I have the EBS snapshots, I'll be removing this, and it needs to be stored here. Okay. So after this, we can apply to all the resources. So apply to all the resources. It is written as a retention period. Now you'll see here the retention period can range from 1 days, minimum of 1 days, to maximum of 365. It Ishika wants to join now. Ishika, beta, why you have joined so late? But it's already been 1 hour. We have studied a couple of concepts, so you have joined 1 hour late. Can I ask the reason why, Ishika? Is she here? Yes. Beta Ishika, tell me why you have joined so late. This is not a time to join. बेटा 1 घंटा फिर क्यों ज्वाइन किया आपने? So try to join on proper time. See, beta, I will not allow from next time onwards. Try to join the session on time if you want to genuinely learn something. Okay. So we were discussing the retention settings, and I was explaining the retention period. So you can see here the minimum 1 day to maximum of 365 days you can have for the retention. Okay. So I'll keep it as the 1 day only. So let's create it. Okay. Retention I have done. So let's click on the demo. This is done. Demo retention and rule. There is nothing present here. So if I'll go to the resource, you will observe you currently no resource in this region. So we have not deleted anything. So in resource, we don't have anything. So retention rule, this is the retention rule. So we have nothing in this one. So what we are going to do is, so we are going to snapshots. Okay. So we'll be deleting the snapshot. Let's suppose EC2. Do I have got the snapshot? Okay, let's try to write snapshot. Okay, snapshots. We have got the snapshot. Sir, what you enter in key? So, but nothing is required. So leave that value blank. So Vishal, nothing is required to be entered in the key. So leave it blank. So retention rule ke andar, we just need to focus upon for how much duration we want to have that retention. So it can be, no, this is not the point. We'll go to the snapshots. Okay, and once we have gone to the snapshot beta, now storage tier I want to show you here. First of all, let's show you the storage tier. It is going to be standard. The storage tier is going to be standard here, and we are going to remove, and we are going to first of all, let's suppose we are going to archive our snapshot. You can click on this, you can move to the archive. So it is an archiving of snapshot stores a full copy of snapshot in an archive tier. So this is what we have studied. So what you enter the key here, it shows value is required. Vishal, why is it showing value is required? Because we have not entered anything in that field. So बेटा वैल्यू के अंदर आपके पास वही वही आएगा जो आपने नाम दिया होगा ना, वॉट एवर नेम यू हैव गिवन for this one. So same thing you will be writing here in the value. Since I have used the demo retention rule, or you can write it whatever name you have given, you can write it there. Can you do it? Can we write 0? No, 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 no. We are not supposed to write 0, Vishal. I'm saying, so whatever name you have given, you can write it. But can you see it is written value should be an optional field. So it should be an optional. Is it written optional? Beta, वहाँ पे Vishal, can you share the screen and show?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Just a moment.
Beta, hurry up, Vishal. Share the screen.
Sir, here it is. Sir, that key.
EBS snapshot. Beta, don't include the space between the EBS snapshot. Remove the space. Resource type. Okay, this is the okay. ठीक है. Resource type है. And apply to the all resources. Click on checkbox. Beta, click on the checkbox. Apply to the all resources. Whatever all resources you're going to have it from the EBS snapshot. It is going to take from 1 days to 365. Demo retention rule. And yes, beta, create retention rule.
Oh, sir, now got it.
Done.
चेकबॉक्स सर मैंने क्लिक नहीं किया था इसलिए वो वहां पे आ रहा था.
ठीक है, no issues. So let's better try to continue. Let me share. Okay, so better I have moved this. I have clicked on the actions, and I have, when you click on this actions, you can see this is a standard one, and when you click on this action, so you can have you can archive it. Okay, so this is not the snapshot. You can click on the archive. Now when you click on the archive snapshot beta, you will see here the lot of details are written. Archiving a snapshot is a full copy of snapshot. It will be stored in an archive tier. We have studied this is 75% cheaper than the EBS volume. If the snapshot was created by the Amazon data lifecycle manager, okay, leave this. For storage price tier, you can see this is a hyperlink. For storage tier pricing, see this option. For EBS pricing, you can look onto this one. So you can click on the archive tier. This is one of the way in which you can save the data, and you can save onto the cost. Okay, so I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to delete this one because we have created the recycle bin. So I'm going to delete this snapshot from here. Okay, so I'm going to delete this snapshot. Now once the snapshot is going to be deleted, but we'll be moving on to the recycle bin. Now let me refresh. So nothing is present here. So let's move on to the recycle bin. So let's move to the recycle bin. Okay, under resources. Better now see under resources. I have refreshed. We have got the snapshot that we have recently deleted. Demo snapshot. It is reflecting here. Now it will be staying here for 1 day, and after 1 day, you will be able to delete this one permanently. It is going to be deleted. But if you want to recover it, you can see there's an option of recover. You click on recover demo snapshot, recover this. So it is boom, it is gone from here, and that's the power of this EBS. So volumes can be deleted and it can be recovered. So let's move back. And inside the snapshots, let's move and see. But it is back in our this particular area. We have deleted it and we have moved it back to our this area. Okay. So this is what we have studied using the snapshots. Now coming on to the next topic. Let's move on to the next topic, that is AMI overview. Okay. So next topic is we are going to start with the AMI overview. So what is this AMI? AMI stands for the Amazon Machine Image. By default, this machine image is provided to us where we can utilize this machine for a lot of activities that we can perform. So these AMIs are the customization of an EC2 instances. Very very important. अच्छा मैं आपको एक चीज बताता हूँ. Now let's take a scenario. Beta, let's take a scenario in which you want to have multiple instances, and on multiple instances आपको multiple servers जो है, let's suppose Apache का server है, you want to launch Apache server. Okay, one of the way is while launching the instance, beta, in the user code I am going to write the bootstrap code and it is going to launch my instance along with the Apache server. Next time if a new instance is required, you can again write the bootstrap code and again relaunch the instance. This is the one way. This is the EC2 instance creation, but you can use the Amazon Machine Image. Amazon Machine Image is, this is the customized EC2 instances. Okay, so what I can do is AMI is a customization of EC2 instance. Customize कैसे कर सकते हैं बेटा? मैं एक Amazon image create कर लूंगा, Amazon Machine Image I'll create, and within this image I am going to deploy my Apache server. Okay, let's suppose I have created my Amazon Machine Image, and in that machine image only for once I am going to deploy my Apache server. Next time when I want to create EC2 instance, I will not be creating this EC2 instance directly from here. Rather than that, I'll be creating an EC2 instance from Amazon Machine Image. Okay, I'll be creating EC2 instance from this image. And what is going to be the benefit of this image? Beta, इसमें से आप पे क्या है कि inheritance is going to be applied. So whatever the Apache service is already present in an image, when you create a new instance, the EC2 instance will automatically inherit the Apache server. You need not to every time write the bootstrap script in order to relaunch the server. It is going to be saving a lot of time for you. No doubt for once, first time beta जब आप ये Amazon Machine Image create करेंगे, it might take certain time, but once it is created, what are all instances? If you need to create 100 EC2 instances, all EC2 instances need to have a Apache server. So you need not to have 100 times writing the bootstrap script in order to launch this Apache server, because we will be inheriting that server from this Amazon Machine Image directly to our EC2 instance. Beta, are you able to get this point? What I'm trying to say? समझ आ रहा है बेटा? What this AMI can do? So this is one of the example that I have shown you. We have discussed this, that how we can have this AMI images. This is just a customization for creation of EC2 instances. Okay, so let's read it further and then we'll be executing it in a practical. So Amazon customization, you add your own software. आप कुछ भी add कर सकते हैं. I have given you an example of the Apache server. You can add your own software configuration files. You can add your own operating system monitoring files. Any of the thing that you want to put into the Amazon Machine Image, you can put it there. Of course, you need to have a script for that. Okay, you need to have a data script for that to put it there.
And once it is there, then next time onwards you need not to put it every time. So faster boot. And what is going to be the benefit of AMI? Faster booting operation, faster boot operation for whatever instances you want to create, or configuration time is going to be low because all your software are pre-packaged in your AMI. So it is going to be beta pre-packaged in your AMI. ठीक है जी. So AMI are built for a specific region and can be copied across different regions. So that means also these are for the specific region. So if you have created an AMI for AP South 1, that might not work for the any other region because they are specific to certain regions. But it can be copied. It can be definitely copied across the different region. This provisions is already available. Now you can launch EC2 instance from a public AMI AWS provided. Okay. A public AMI kya hai beta? Public AMI is the default AMI that is provided by the AWS, and from that you can launch the image. Or you can have your own AMI. You can create your own AMIs in which you are going to pre-package some of the content. Let's suppose, and by the way, you might be surprised to know people are actually running a businesses on this AMIs. Okay. When I say running the businesses on AMIs, what does that mean? कि लोग क्या करते हैं बेटा AWS पे, वो AMIs क्रिएट करते हैं. AMIs क्रिएट करने का मतलब इसमें बेटा मैं Windows 10 डाल दूंगा, और इसमें मैं सर्वर भी डाल दूंगा, इसमें मैं Android Studio भी डाल दूंगा, इसमें मैं और इंपॉर्टेंट सॉफ्टवेयर बना के I'll pre-package everything and I'll create an AMI. Now I will rent this or I can sell this AMI to the customers. You can make and maintain them for yourself, and AWS marketplace for the AMI, and AMI someone else made and potentially sells. Okay. So this is one of the business that people do. They try to create an AMIs and they pre-package with lot of the softwares, configuration files, operating systems, and whatever are required from an instance. They do it and they try to sell. So that means you can use an AMI that someone, even if you do, see, there are two options. You can create your own AMI. This is also available. Or you can get an AMI someone else has built for you. Okay. And it is usually people generally sell this AMIs. Are you able to see? Are you able to understand this point? Beta, are you getting me? Please keep on responding yes or no, so that I have this hope that you people are listening. Are you get this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Beta, none of you are asking the doubts. If in case you have beta doubt anywhere, whatever we have been discussing, so try to ask the question. So before we directly jump onto the management console and execute anything, so I'm just trying to give you the overview that what is the theory behind it and what is the logic behind it. Okay, so this is what the Amazon machine image is going to be. Now coming on to the next one. So this is an example that is being given. AMI's process. What is the process of AMI? From an EC2 instance, there are 4 steps that will be following. Now we are going to do the practical, and what practical we need to do 4 steps. First step will start an EC2 instance and customize it. But customize it means we need to have the user script. I'll be writing user script. Okay, I'll be writing user script into this. Once EC2 instance is done, then stop the instance for data integrity, so that data is completely integral, because we want to create an AMI, and all the data that is present on EC2 instance, it needs to be correctly copied to the AMI. So we need to stop this before we build an AMI. Third step is build an AMI. This will also create an EBS snapshot. तो ये automatically बेटा backup के लिए ये snapshot भी create करेगा आपका जो AMI है whenever you will try to create this AMI. Finally, the last step is launch instances from other AMI. So whatever AMIs you will be building, you can launch the instances from that AMI. So these are the 2 or 3 steps that will be following for the creation. Okay. Now you'll see this US East one. I have told you this is based upon the certain specific region. So if it is in the US East one, you can have it in the US East 1B as well. This is one of the instance. You create an EMI. So this is the EMI you have seen here, and you can customize this EMI as per your requirement. Okay. So now launch from EMI. Now next instance that you are trying to launch to the different region, but you're not creating the new EC2 instance, but rather than that, what you're going to do, you're going to launch an instance from this AMI, whatever AMI you have been writing. So whatever AMI you have been creating, so from that you will be creating the new instance, and it will be all together in different region. So it is not mandatory कि जो आप AMI से बेटा whatever instance you are going to create, it needs to be in the same region. ऐसा mandatory नहीं है. So once you have got the AMI, from that AMI in whatsoever region, किसी भी region के अंदर you can create an instance. Okay, so you can create instance in any of the region. So instance store, let's move this one. Okay. Let's try to practically see the AMIs. Snapshots not required. Let's move to first of all, let's move to the instance. Okay, so none of the instance is working. So step number one will be I need to create an instance and add the user script to it. Okay, so let's click on launch instance. Okay, so in launch instance, so application and OS, I'll keep it the default one, that is Amazon Linux. It is going to have the Linux 2 T2 micro, and key pair, let's suppose we choose the key pair, demo key pair. Okay, and then we have the network settings, and in this network settings you can click on edit, and you can select the security group, and in this security, existing security groups, let's suppose I am going to click on default one. Okay, and then configuration will remain as it is. Let's click on the advanced. Okay, so once we are going to click on advanced, we need to directly jump onto the user data. Okay, so in this, let me move to the code that I have. So the script that that we have seen. So I'm not going to copy this one, the file, the HTML file, the last one, but the code that is present here, that is corresponding to launching of the one of the server, Linux 2 version, install httpd, and yum install and update the system call. So I'm going to copy this entire code and I'm going to paste it here. Okay. Now, once you have done this, now after this, I have skipped the last line because I don't want to create this file. So I've copied this entire user data,
Should
and this
you
is by
send
the
the
yes.
should send the code in chat box.
Okay, but Krantikaran wants to join now. Okay, so but by the way, this is already sent. इसमें सिर्फ last line I have removed it, and by the way, this is the rest of the code is exactly bootstrap is going to be same. So I am going to write this entire one, and after this is done, so simply click on the launch instance, and the instance is going to be launched. Okay, let's view all instances. Okay, this is pending. This is running now, and we have got a public IP address. Let's copy the public IP address and paste it. It will not work this way. Let's try to include http colon Okay, it might take few minutes to do this. Okay, let's wait. Do we have networking? But if it doesn't work, what I need to do, let's try to understand from you. If it doesn't work, it is still not able to work. What should I do? But what should I do?
सर माइट बी सर आपने HTTP पे क्लिक नहीं किया हो
नहीं नहीं बेटा
ओनली
click here. See this. I'm going to type it here. This is the public IP address. We have seen this already कि if it doesn't work, कौन सा issue है इसमें? अगर ये नहीं चलता तो क्या चीज मेरे को रिजॉल्व करने की जरूरत है? What I need to resolve if it doesn't work? किस चीज कह रहा है ये? बेटा this is security group. So let's move and see if we have HTTP here. Okay, let's. Mm, so we don't have here. Let's try to do this again. Okay, so this is working. So you'll see, beta, this is Apache, the server that this is the user script that we have written. And when we'll copy this one, it is going to open this particular page. The moment you click on this public IP address, it is going to open this particular page. You are on a member of the general public. This is powered by the Apache 2.4 HTTP server. Okay, because we have written a script, we have not included any of the statement that whether I want to display anything or not. The last line we have not written anything, so it is going to display only the this page. What was the error? We have not, in the security group, we was not included the HTTP the protocol, and we have written that protocol, and now it is working fine. Now once this is once you are able to get this page, that means you have created one of the EC2 instance, and as per the user scripts that we have written, it is working absolutely fine. Okay, now the next thing that we want to do is we are going to click on the instance. Let's move back. Let's click on you need to click on image and templates. Now you need to create an image. Okay, so you need to create an image for this one. So I am going to create image, and when you create image, better you'll see all these option, and you can create an image from here. You can write it demo image. Let's name it as a demo image. This is AMI image I'm going to create from the EC2 instance. Demo image description not required, or no reboot, enable no rate to let it be everything default as it is. So I'm not going to do anything here. So simply going to click on the create image. Okay. Now once it is created, and we need to move to, it has done successfully created instance for images created. Now once this is created, where we need to go? So beta, you will see an section here under the images, you will see an AMI. So if we'll click on here, you'll see the demo image we have already created using the instance. So this is the demo image we have created the instance, and you'll see under the AMI image launch instances from AMI. Can you see this button? So from this demo image, or in this demo image, we already have this, the Apache HTTP server, a user script has already been written, and from this we can launch the instances and it will be working absolutely fine. So that will be looking onto in a while. So if we'll click onto this one, so you'll be able to, if you'll move all the way this side, and you'll be able to see visibility private status, it is still pending. So let it become active. So but it is still status is pending. So let's refresh. Platform Linux and Unix, EBS root type, block storage, and let's refresh this once. It will become available. Okay. I hope this is available now. Private status is still pending. Sometime better takes a certain time for making it active. Let it be. But once this image is created, I'll move back again to the instances and try to create the new instance. And under AMI, there will be an option under the advanced settings. I'll go to the AMI and I'll choose the demo image, and it will be created from the demo image. And I'll be showing you how we can check this. Sometime takes a certain time for status is pending. Because how much time, sir? But as general takes 30 seconds to 2 minutes of time. कभी कभार लग जाता है depending upon the traffic, or might be low because of lot of circumstances. 30 seconds से 2 minutes 3 minutes तक maximum time it takes, not more than that. Okay, now this is done. Now better, if you'll see here, this demo image, that AMI that we have created, now the status has changed to available. It was pending and now it has changed to available. The status is available. Now what we need to do is, our task is done for the AMI. Now I'll be moving back to my instance. Okay, so I'll be simply creating an instance. Simply go to the launch instance, and when you're going to launch an instance, so you are going to use here. Can you see here? We have got this option for my AMI. So instead of Linux already existing, so these are the AMIs present by the AWS. But this time I'm going to click on my AMI. Okay, so owned by me or shared by me. This is owned by me is a demo image. You can see here in a drop down we have already got this as a demo image AMI that is created by me. Okay, so I'll be using this demo image AMI that is being created by me, and rest everything is going to be same. and I'll tell you how we can check this, that whatever this is the new instance that I'm trying to create, but this new instance, whether it has already the Apache server or not, how we'll be checking this. So let's choose this existing one, the default. Okay, and configuration, so need not to change anything in the configuration. And move to the advanced, and in this advanced, okay, so beta in this advanced, again I'm going to copy some of the script, but this time you need to be very clear about this. Beta, I'm not going to write anything, these commands I'm not going to include. I'll be just including the first three commands. The first three commands I'm going to write it here, and this is the introduction for the install Linux 2 version. And after this, the last command is going to be the echo command, where I want to display the results. Now this is the magic you'll observe. I am not going to include beta the Apache EC2, the commands that is install yum install y httpd system.ctl start enable. So we are not going to include this. We are just going to include these many commands. Okay, so once this is written, echo command is there, hello world is there. Now without even including the commands for the Apache server, now when I'll be clicking onto this one and when I'll be launching my instance, you'll be able to see that we are able to launch it. So this is launching is success. Let's move to the instance. So we have to click on owned by me or shared with me. Owned by me, beta. I have created it. So it is nowhere shared by me. I have created it. So it is always owned by me. So, okay. Now this is running, but I have not given the name to this one. Okay. कैसे करेंगे differentiate? 1932 जो लास्ट वाला वो हमने अभी क्रिएट किया हुआ है. सो दिस इज द लास्ट वन. दिस वन इज बेटा क्रिएटेड with the help of the AMI image. Okay, so we have created this with the help of the AMI image. And if from this one, if I'm going to copy this public IP, and if I'm going to write this command V, and let's check if this is working. See, better, it is absolutely working fine. Hello world from IP. This is the public IP. Sorry, this is a private IP. This is a private IP address, and this you can see here is the public IP address. So this is and from AMI. This particular instance beta that is running. This is from the AMI. Okay, so this is running from the AMI, and I have not included for the Apache beta जो इसके वाली commands थी, I have not written in this instance, but still I am able to run this from the Apache server. So this is using the Apache server, and still I'm able to get it on the screen. So that means whatever instances you are going to create with the help of AMI image, beta that one will be having, or that will be having the pre-written, pre-packed Apache commands will be there, and the server will be already pre-installed. Are you able to get this one? Beta, what we have done right now, हमने बेटा पहले हमने AMI का इमेज एक इंस्टेंस क्रिएट किया. मैंने उसमें AMI इमेज के अंदर I have written the code for setting up of an Apache server. I have launched it. When the instance was launched, I moved to the instance and I have created an image of that instance. Okay, when I create an image of that instance, it will be acting as my AMI image. Next time when I'm going to launch an instance, and then I'll be choosing that I'll not be using the default AMI provided by the AWS. Instead, I'll be using my own AMI, that is the demo AMI. Okay, demo instance. So from that, I have launched it, and it has automatically, even without including the commands for the Apache server, it is still going to display the result. That means internally it has inherited the properties from the AMI, and it is working absolutely fine. Okay, so this is how it needs to work. So this was related to the AMI process, and we have covered this AMI process. And the next one is EC2 instance store. बेटा इंस्टेंस स्टोर ये थोड़ा सा थ्योरेटिकल है, ये भी थ्योरेटिकल है, वॉल्यूम्स इज गोइंग टू बी अगेन थ्योरेटिकल. सो लेट्स ट्राई टू रीड दिस. व्हाट इज इंस्टेंस स्टोर? ट्राई टू रीड दिस.
सिर्फ मेरे में ये शो नहीं हो रहा है, मेरे में वो सेम पेज ही आ रहा है जैसे पहले टेस्ट पेज करके आ रहा था ना, वही आ रहा है सेम.
दिखाओ बेटा विशाल, शेयर करो स्क्रीन.
1 मिनट सर. फिर ये वाला इंस्टेंस मैंने अभी बनाया और जैसे इस आईपी को कर रहा हूँ, फिर वो सेम ही आ रहा है.
बेटा HTTP इंक्लूड करो एक बार इसको.
यस सर.
Relaunch this instance. क्लोज करके ओपन, कॉपी द आईपी एड्रेस एंड देन पेस्ट इट. अच्छा नहीं हुआ, चलो.
यस सर बोलिए.
बेटा पहले रन हुआ था
ये सिर्फ ऐसे आ रहा था रन हो.
ये तो AMI इमेज हो गया ना.
ये सिर्फ लेकिन जब मैंने जैसे आपने ये कोड मतलब AMI नया इंस्टेंस बनाने के बाद आपने रन कराया तो फिर से वो आया ना लिख के हेलो वर्ल्ड करके. ऐसा मेरा नहीं आ रहा, मेरा जैसे पहले
कोई बात नहीं, कोई बात नहीं.
अभी
टर्मिनेट बेटा कर दो इसको, टर्मिनेट कर दो. टर्मिनेट दिस इंस्टेंस एंड क्रिएट द न्यू वन. दोबारा कर लेते हैं. टर्मिनेट दिस वन एंड क्रिएट द न्यू इंस्टेंस. क्लिक करो न्यू इंस्टेंस. यहाँ पे लिखो फ्रॉम AMI, नाम लिख दो फ्रॉम FROM AMI. सो हमें आइडिया रहेगा. सो दिस पर्टिकुलर इंस्टेंस इज फ्रॉम AMI. नाउ माय AMI is click yes, owned by me. Move down the demo image. Yes, keep here, select. But I'm going to paste it in the chat area. Copy the script from here. Don't type it. Copy the script from the chat area. और एक लास्ट लाइन भी है. कॉपी दिस इंटायर वन. रिमूव द स्पेसेस इन बिटवीन. एक स्पेस आएगा वो रिमूव कर देना. ओके डन. ठीक है. लॉन्च. क्रिएटिंग सिक्योरिटी ग्रुप्स. बेटा यू हैव एग्जिस्टिंग सिक्योरिटी ग्रुप्स. आपने एग्जिस्टिंग वाला यूज नहीं किया?
नो सर मैंने न्यू किया.
तो उसमें बेटा वो आपको जो सिक्योरिटी ग्रुप्स के अंदर इनबाउंड एंड आउटबाउंड रूल्स हैं वो आपको पहले सेट करने पड़ेंगे. चलो देख लेते हैं. उसमें इनबाउंड आउटबाउंड रूल सेट्स हैं एज HTTP एंड SSH दोनों प्रोटोकॉल्स वगैरह. व्यू ऑल इंस्टेंस गो. From AMI. Beta, is it working for everyone else? So I am not expecting beta this much, this less number of participation. Please keep interacting. Please tell me that whether you have been able to do this or not. No response from any other student. Ritu has done it. That's good. Ajit has done it. Good, good.
Yes, sir. Now
Done.
it's done. Yes.
Beta, वो script में कुछ होगा, so that is why you have not been able to do.
Yes.
Okay. So let's see the next part. So AMI is done. So let's see the EC2 instance store. And there are one or two more slides for the theoretical one. EC2 instance store. So EBS volumes are network drives with a good but limited performance. So whatever EBS volumes we have been discussing up to now, these are good, but these has a limited performance. If you need a high performance hardware disk, use EC2 instance store. So this is another type of EC2 instance for the high performance. Okay, so what are the benefits in this EC2 instance store? You can have a better input output performance. EC2 instance store lost their storage if they're stopped. Empirical. So EC2 instance store lose its storage. That means जो root volume beta attach है EC2 के साथ, it loses its storage when they are going to stop. But if you use the EC2 instance store, you will not be able to store it, or you will not be able to lose it. Good for buffer, cache memory, scratch data, temporary content. So if it is going to be, so it is EC2 instance lose their storage when they are stopped. So that is why it is good for the buffer. जो temporary data होगा बेटा, for buffer, for cache memory, for the scratch data, for all the temporary content, you can use this instance store. So EC2 instance store is good for all those instance because it is going to lose the data when it is going to be stopped. And risk of the data lost if the hardware fails. This is the major downfall for the instance store. Even it is very fast, it is high performance, but a risk is also of the data loss if the hardware is going to fail. So for backups and replication, you do it at your own responsibility, because if you'll do the backup, or if you'll create the snapshot, and if you'll use the instance store for the storing, if you'll use the instance store, beta agar instance store kabhi down hua and the hardware fails, all the backups and the replication will also be gone. ठीक है, तो उस केस में you need to be responsibility, अपनी responsibility के साथ you need to store it. So it is not recommended to store that data onto the backups and the snapshots onto the instance store, because there is a risk of the data loss. Okay, now coming on to the next one, EBS volume types. Now you might have seen when we are going to create an instance, GP2 or GP3 SSD, the storage type, IO1, IO2, this is again SSD storage type, ST1, this is hard disk drive, SC1, this is hard disk drive. So various categorizations of the EBS volumes comes into 6 different types. So whatever EBS volumes we have studied, we can categorize this storage into this storage. EBS volume can be of 6 different types. Okay, so let's try to read this. GP2 and GP3, these are the SSD storage types, and these are the general purpose that we have been using. अभी तक बेटा हमने जितना भी कुछ पढ़ा हुआ है, जितने भी EBS volumes we have studied with the GP2. Okay, so the default one. This is a general purpose SSD volume that balances price and performance. So it is a kind of balance between the neither too expensive nor very high performing. Okay, so averagely priced and average performance for a wide variety of workloads. For different types of businesses, you can have this, either GP2 or GP3, you can use it. But if you are the highest performance, if you need to have a very high performance, So in that case, you can use IO1 or IO2, input output 1, input output 2 SSD volumes for the mission critical low latency. जहां पे delay latency क्या होती है बेटा? Latency is the delay. Low latency means low delay. That means the mission critical, the instance is low latency or the high throughput. For high end workloads, you can include IO1 or IO2. And of course, we need not to say that IO1 and IO2 are comparatively higher priced as compared to GP2. Okay. Then we comes the ST1 and SC1, low cost hard disk drive. This is a solid state drive, SSD. This is a hard disk drive. Volume designated for the frequently assessed throughput intensive workloads, and the lowest cost hard disk drive designed for the less frequently assessed the workloads. So depending upon whatever your businesses are, you can choose any one of the given. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So total 6 type of EBS volumes are there with you. Okay. Now this EBS volumes are characterized in either size. So how you can characterize कि GP2 beta अच्छा है कि बुरा है? How you can characterize? Based upon the size, based upon the throughput, and based upon the IOPS. IOPS means input output operations per second. So कितने operations per second में perform कर रहे हैं? What is the throughput and what is the size? Based upon that, we can characterize the different volumes. Now, when in doubt, always consult the AWS documentation. It's good. So when you do not know which of these volumes you need to use, so AWS documentation on the website, it is present and everything is mentioned in detail. So under what category, which of the volume is preferred. So you can visit that and you can read out. Now only GP2 and GP3 and IO1, IO2 can be used for the boot volumes. Boot volume, that means for the root devices, you can use only GP2, GP3, IO1 and IO2. You cannot use ST1, SC1 because since these are the hard disk drives, so you cannot use this. Only these two and these two can be used for the boot device when the instance is going to start. So you can, the volume needs to be either these two or from IO1 and IO2. You cannot use ST1 and SC1. Okay. Now EBS volumes types used in case of general purpose SSD. So read this bit of nothing to explain in this slide. This is general points that you need to understand. Read it once. एक बार पढ़ो इसको. So use cases means under what category you will be preferring using the general purpose. Okay. And under what purpose you will be preferring using provisioned IOPS. ये आप कब use करेंगे? और the third one is आप hard disk drives कब use करेंगे? So all three, slide number 1, slide number 2 and slide number 3, these are going to tell under what circumstances you need to use what different type of EBS volumes. So this is slightly theoretical. Read it. Cost effective hai, low latency hai, system boot volumes, virtual desktops, and the test environments you can use. And it ranges from 1 GB to 16 TB. GP3 baseline is 3000 IOPS input output operations per second perform, and 125 bits per second it can process. Sir, IOPS. So IOPS is input output operations per second. How many input output operations per second it is going to perform? So that is going to tell us the throughput कि कितना fastly वो काम कर सकता है. So it execute 3000 instructions per second. Okay. So you can increase IOPS up to 16,000 per second and throughput to 1000 Mbps independently. So GP2 के ये configurations है. Okay. So you have the 3 IOPS GB means 5334 GB. We are at the max IOPS in GP2, but in GP3 you can increase it up to 16,000. Okay. So this is there. Provisioned आप कब IOPS कब use करेंगे? So if you have IO1 versus 2 4 gigs and 16 TB. Max IOPS is 64,000. So this is provision, so it has enhanced capability. तो उससे महंगा भी है ये 16,000. So because in the previous one the maximum limit was 16,000, and in here you'll have the up to 64,000 for Nitro EC2. Extremely fast. This is one of the instance, Nitro EC2, and 32,000 for the others. For the Block Express, sub millisecond latency. So by the way, beta, no need to cram these things. So you need not to learn this by heart, but you should know the basic difference, that the general purpose is averagely priced, and it is the averagely the performance. When it comes to the provision, it is high end and it is maximum operations. So, but okay, this is PIOPS. What is this PIOPS? But this used only the Linux operating system, because this is the file format PIOPS. So it does not work on Windows. Okay. So this provisioned IOPS, this does not work on Windows, because it increased PIOPS independently from the storage size. So it works on the Linux operating system only. So this is the very high end one. Support EBS multi-attach. Okay. So this can attach multiple, volumes can be attached to a single instance, so that it can support hard disk drive. So hard disk drive, these are comparatively slow. तो अगर आपके पास बहुत ज्यादा डेटा है, बिग डेटा है, और if you have a data warehouse, if you have very long log you want to process, in that case where very high efficiency does not matter, and it is not the critical data that you have been working, but the amount of data is very huge. Okay, if the amount of data is very huge, so in that case you can use this hard disk drive, but make sure it cannot be used as the boot volume. This we have already studied. For data that infrequently accessed, कहाँ पे use करेंगे आप? वो data जहाँ पे infrequently accessed है, that means it is not very frequently you're going to access that data. So that's the point. Okay, and then IBS volume types summary is given, so leave this as well. So next we'll be starting with EBS encryption. Okay, so encryption is also one of the very important parameter. That from EBS encryption we'll be starting in our next class. Okay, from EBS encryption we'll be starting in our next class. So if you have any doubt, beta, whatever we have discussed in our today's session, we have discussed couple of topics. By the way, let me terminate everything. Instance terminate, fail to terminate, it does not exist. Okay, one of the instances does not existing. Let's terminate these two. One this is terminated, instance is terminated. Let's move to the AMIs. There is one AMI, let's delete that also. So I'm going to deregister AMI. Okay, AMI deregister, AMI volumes. Let's go to the volumes and click on all the volumes, delete volumes, delete. So all the volumes are deleted. Fail to delete volumes. Okay, no issues. So sometimes, okay, all the deleted already. Snapshots, do we have a snapshot? Let's delete all the snapshots. Delete snapshots. Better make this an habit before closing an account. Make sure you delete everything, because nobody wants to pay extra when we can practice the things at free. So security groups, lot of security groups are there. So let's apart from the default one, I'm going to delete the security groups also. Let's delete this. But I don't leave the session. I am about to take the attendance. So without that, don't leave the session. Elastic IPs, do we have elastic IP? No. placement groups, demo partition. Let's remove everything. Okay, key pairs, networking load balancer, key pairs. Okay, I have kept one. Okay, everything is done, and let's close this one. All the instances are terminated. Okay, done. So administrator, let's sign out. And let me stop the screen share. But okay, let me take an attendance before you leave the session.